where like you just literally carry the coffee. Oh.
Let's get the show on the road. Hey, what's good? Good morning. How are you doing today? I hope you've been good. How have you been spending your time in isolation? Isolation, right? Yeah, this forced holiday that all of us are having. Okay, so today, first off, welcome to another episode of Digi Talks to the Camera. I am hot again and sweating already because, well, the fan is still not on. Trying to find the best way to spend all my free time. Currently in the studio again. I think I'm here all the time. You know, maybe not all the time, but I'm always working. I'm currently editing a couple of documentaries that I need to get done. By the way, if you haven't seen any of my stuff before, please check out this link up top. It's a link to my Instagram. And it literally is where I keep all my stuff that I do. So please, when you have a time, please check it out. Anyways, man, today I'm talking about this tweet that I put out like a couple of months ago, weeks ago, a while ago, Sean. So I put this tweet out like a while ago in January, I think, right after I made the decision to quit my job. And it's a tweet that's basically talking about how like it's the second job that I have quit in the last 3 years, and it was a hard decision. And then this video is just basically supposed to just like highlight like what's going through my head in the period, some history, and then like where I am right now. Alright, so on the day I put out this tweet, I had literally just gotten off a call with my boss. My boss was somewhere out of the country. I have no idea where he was. I put a call through to him on WhatsApp, and then we spoke for a bit. I explained at length why I felt like it was the right time to quit and what I had in mind to do next, and tried to basically make him understand why it was time to move on, and why our current relationship wasn't exactly working for me anymore, and it was time for me to try and try new things. Chill, give me a second. Okay, so this is how the story goes. Alright, so I'll give you some background first, right? I remember the year. What year is that now? I don't remember. I think it's 2015. I'm done with my biochemistry degree. I'm literally straight out of university, and I'm asking myself what I want to do in my life. And I think this is a question that most of us have at one point or the other actually asked ourselves. I got here fresh from the University of Ibadan, shout out. Had a 2-1 in biochemistry, which is probably one of the most difficult departments to graduate from. I think the department I think is even worse than biochemistry is maybe like geology. Anyways, man, I came out with a 2-1, and then the search for what to do with my degree started. And I think I literally spent like the next 3 or 4 months before NYSC started looking for a good job. And I think it was around this period that I realized that my biochemistry degree was useless, right? And around the same period, I jumped into like a creative role for the first time. I mean, I knew I always had it in me in some way, but like that was the first time I actually took an actual deep dive into anything creative. I think I started with graphic design. Took a couple of tutorials, and then eventually started working with some guys online, graphic design, and I did that for quite a while, up until after NYSC. And then after NYSC, moved to Lagos and worked for a company called CCM as a graphic designer at first. And then there, like, got a more complicated media role. That's why I got into photography and video for the first time. And my time at CCM was great. It was really nice. Did a lot of things, achieved a lot of things creatively. jumped many leaps and bounds, you know, tried some new things I hadn't tried before, like in a creative role per se. And then I left CC Hub in 2018 and then moved to Ibadan to start my job that I just quit in 2019. And in 2018, I mean. And it was a really interesting job because it had me traveling like every single day. It was adventurous as hell. I was working as a photographer for a man, Honorable Shiyarisa, member House of Assembly Oyo State. Well, he wasn't a member then, he was trying to get elected. And I would go out every day and take banger photos for him. Like I was on the election trail taking pictures every single day, like documenting like his every move. And that was fun for like a very, very long while until, well, it wasn't fun anymore. After we got elected, I had to take on a more administrative role per se. And as the days started to pass, like I just kind of felt like I wasn't exactly in a role where like I was giving my very best, and I yearned like every day to be in a more creative space or in a more creative role, or like to flex my creative prowess a little bit. And I think around this time, this was around like September in 2019, after I'd been there for like a little over a year, I decided that like I was gonna quit my job eventually, and you know, start my own little thing. And this was about 6-7 months ago now, September 2019. And then at that point, like I had to make like decisive steps on what to do next. So first thing I do is I speak to a couple of family members about it, and then they give me a ton of advice. I then take a loan, and it's a really huge loan, right? And I invest all that money into getting my own gear. So I buy my camera for the first time. I have the A6400. I get lights, I get the light dome, I get a ton of things, and then bring all that back with me to Nigeria and spend the next couple of months working on a ton of different gigs with my friend Jide. And in that period, I think I do like 5 or 6 different like video gigs. And these were my very first set of gigs. Like it was, they were tough. I look back at all of them now and I think, bruh, like it could have been better. There were some I literally bungled entirely, and I even don't want to ever talk about it anymore. But I guess like it comes with the waters. Like if you decide like to, you know, to be on your own, especially like in a creative role, like you're definitely gonna come to a point where like you're making some rookie mistakes, and if you don't make them, like you never will get past them. Yeah, so I do that for a few, you know, get some experience under my belt, and then eventually when I feel like the time is right, and time being right now, not financially per se, because even at the point where I quit, like I literally have almost no money left with me, right? But like I realized that okay, like if you don't make the jump now, like you're probably never going to make it. And I say the jump because for me, like there's a lot of security in earning a salary, like you knowing that like doesn't matter how hard or how not hard you work in a month, like money will come through anyways. And there's a lot of like security in that. But like for me, I decided that like I wanted to be able to do a lot more than that, and that like I wanted to be able to, you know, work with a ton more individuals and not be limited in any way at all. So I eventually quit when I put the tweet out, and then start my own small production company. It's called 11, and start looking for gigs literally. And initially there was a lot of uncertainty because like nothing was coming through. And I remember, I think the day is the 14th or the 15th of February 2020. Like on this day, like I'm sitting down in my room, and I realized that after just like 2 weeks of starting my own thing, like I had more gigs that I could finish between February and the end of March. And those gigs just kept coming back to back to back to back to back. And so like I did a ton of stuff. I'm probably going to make other videos where I'm breaking down, you know, like some of the work I've done recently, like what the ideas behind them were and what the execution was like. But I guess I'm only saying all this because like it takes a lot to make the jump from being employed to being self-employed, and I'm sure that somebody out there is thinking about it. I'm going to give you two things. I'm going to advise you to do 2 things if you're one of those people. First, take your time, don't rush it, because like it's easy to regret it if you don't plan it very well. and 2, make sure you plan every single step of it, like before you eventually do it. And yeah, I mean, if you come over to this side, like there's a lot of possibilities. I don't know what all the possibilities are yet because I'm literally just here 3 months or 2 months in now, or it's April already, so 3 months in. And well, it's been very promising so far, and I have no idea what's next, but I'm ready for it. I believe I have God behind me, and then I'm putting in a ton of hard work. So yeah, I pray everything goes according to plan. If it doesn't, well, I pray it works in my favor in the end. I mean, all things work together for good, right? Yeah, so I think that's the end of today's long talk, Did You Talking to the Camera episode. I'm still sweating. Yeah, so if you come this far, please leave a like if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Don't forget to wash your hands, practice social distancing, and please stay at home if you don't need to go out. Thank you.